I just finished these 2 dangles from the Annie's Creative Kit of the Month Club for Boho Macrame Dangles. Wow, was that fun relearning how to do macrame. I haven't done it since I was a kid. I even did some adjusting with the instructions to make them personalized, so stay tuned. So the first macrame dangle that we are going to show you how to make is this one right here, but instead of making it out of blue, I'm going to use this pink that was provided. Now this yarn is very sturdy, it's 100% cotton, and it really does a great job making sure that your project is high quality. What you want to do is cut 2 40-inch lengths of this twine, this rope, this yarn, whatever you want to call it, and I have this loop on one end and I have the cut ends on the other. Because this is 40 lengths, I'm just folding it in half. After you've done that, you want to grab one of your dangles, which I think is very good quality, very sturdy, very heavy, and as you can see, this is on a swivel, which is fantastic for when you get it on your bag, but in this when you're in creation mode, this gets a little dicey. So I'll show you how to secure that in a minute once I get these attached to the dangles. So I'm going to decide which way I'm going to do this. I'm going to come up from the bottom with my loop, and then I'm going to take my cut ends and put that through the loop. It's called a kind of a half hitch. That's what I've been taught when my parents were teaching me how to do it, but then you go ahead and pull gently. Now you're going to take your same string. Now you can do this in multiple colors if you wanted one to be pink and one to be a different color, like a cream. That would look lovely. I'm just doing 2 of the pink same, 40-inch length. Now I'm going to repeat exactly what I did, where I came up through the middle, open up that loop just enough to put the cut ends through, and then pull gently. Now I want to make sure that those are nice and sturdy on my dangle hook, and then I'm going to go ahead and get set getting these ready. Now I'm kind of straightening them out a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab a piece of painter's tape. Now painter's tape, this wide version, works really well because it encompasses the majority of your project. Plus it will not hurt your surface. So if you have some painter's tape lying around, go ahead and get that. Now I would also suggest making a painter's tape that's a little bit longer. If you get it really short, this tends to wiggle a little bit. So make sure it's nice and long onto your surface. The only other recommendation is I'm about 18 inches from this dangle to the edge of the table, and I'll show you why that kind of comes in handy in a minute. Now I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, make them all nice and straight. Now I'm zooming in a little bit so you can actually see the progress I'm making here with my macrame. I'm going to take my outside right hand yarn, go over both of these first 2 middle ones, but under this one on the left. That's step number 1. After I've done that, I'm going to take the one on the left that I just picked up to put this one over, and I'm going to kind of put it underneath the one from the right. I'm also going to put it underneath the 2 middle ones, but when I come to this right hand side one, I want to make sure I'm on the top, and I will again repeat that in the next one. Now I'm going to pull gently, and as you can see, as I'm pulling, these 2 middle ones tend to fly up. This is where it comes in handy. I'm going to kind of smooth them out, and then I'm going to rest my body against my table so it has a little bit of a tautness to it, and then I can slide those 2 ends up. Now on this first one, I want to make sure that everything's nice and tight and making sure it's all square, so when I move forward, it has the perfect macrame effect. Now as you can see, I've kept things on the right and on the left. Now I also started on the right hand side. Now you're going to start with the left hand yarn. Left over, under these 2, and over on top of this one on the left. So now I've completed 4 of those loop. Now it's time to get our dangle on there. That is this rondelle, beautiful rondelle. Now this rondelle will go on the middle 2 strands, so I'm going to lift those up and put them through there. Now, here is my suggestion to you to get that through that rondelle hole. You can either cut the ends so they're nice and straight, but as you can see, I twisted those two yarns together to kind of create one. And by doing that, I create one yarn to put through the rondelle. I'm going to shimmy that up and put it near the top. And now I'm going to repeat the same pattern. So I'm going to do 3 or 4 rounds depending on how you want it. Again, the instructions are always something that are guidelines. You can do it however you'd like, but here is how I have decided to do mine. As you can see, the 2 outside loops kind of encompass that rondelle on the outside. Doesn't that look smashing? And we'll go ahead and repeat it because I started on the right. Now I'm going to go to the left, go over 2 under, loop the right hand under, under, and over. Make sure those 2 in the middle are nice and straight, and I'm going to keep going. Now it's time for another rondelle. I'm going to take my 2 middle yarn pieces, and when I get near the end, I'm going to twist them together to kind of create one yarn. Pull that through there. And continue with the right hand side again. Now in the instructions and on the front of the booklet, it says that you're adding 3 rondelles. Now of course, if you wanted to make this longer, you certainly can. I'm going to go ahead and finish up with the last 4 of these dangle knots. And then I'll show you how I finish up. Now for finishing, I wanted to go 1 more or 2 more. Again, the instructions are always just a guideline, but I don't want to run out necessarily of yarn. That would be pretty bad. Here I am getting close to the end. I think this is the last one I'm going to do, under and over. Now you're wondering how I am going to finish this one off. Is how you independently tie a knot in each one. You just want to make sure that when you are tying your knot, it gets all the way up to the top. Make a loop, put it inside, and bring that knot and make sure you get that all the way towards the top. Last one. If you notice, I'm doing the same knot in the same direction. That way they all look the same here on the ends. Now I'm going to make 1 gigantic knot for all of the yarn, making 1 gigantic big loop, just in case if this big loop gets undone, each individual one is completely safe from unraveling itself. To make that knot look not quite so meaty, I want to make sure that I get those ends tucked in there, and I can gently tighten by pulling each one of the loose ends. Now all I need to do is make a little trim at the bottom and start fringing. I'm going to go at the same length at what I have the other ones. And this is where you can take these and start unraveling since you made your cuts. That's the fun thing about yarn, is that it's many different layers of string or strands of thread twisted together. So just by untwisting it, all I'm doing is twisting it the opposite way. I release those 3 strands that are twisted together, and then untwist these as well. And you can definitely loosen this up more. You can spend some time taking a comb and brushing through them and making sure they look the way they want. Now I'm going to go ahead and unhook it from my table, and look at that. I have the perfectly made macrame little dangle. That's just adorable. Wonderful for backpacks, bags, or even keychains. Let's do another one. So for the next dangle that I would like to do with this macrame, I'm going to complete this one using the cream thread. So the first thing what you want to do is cut a 14-inch length of this macrame yarn, and then you're going to again do the same thing as previously. You fold it in half, grab one of your dangles, come up from the bottom, open up that loop a little bit, and put the loop inside. Next, the directions say I need 24 6-inch pieces of yarn. I'm going to go ahead and grab my see-through ruler that is 6 inches across. Go ahead and put it on one side. Now obviously this 6 inches is to here, but if I go back around to the other side, I have another 6-inch length. Now that means I have 2. If I just do this 12 more times, I will have 24 inches, 24 6-inch pieces of yarn. It makes it really slick and quick and easy if you use the tools that you have. Of course, you can use a standard ruler, but this certainly makes it a little bit easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Need 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and cut the length of that there. Now the fun part of this is I'm going to go ahead and stick my scissors through, and I didn't tighten it very much, so the scissors should be able to go through between the ruler and the yarn, and I'm going to go ahead and cut. I'm also going to hold the end of that and make sure that it's not going anywhere, and proceed to cut the other end of the yarn as well. Well, that was pretty easy. I now have 24 6-inch pieces of yarn. Let's go ahead and get started. So as we're completing this dangle, you want to take each one of these, and the first step is to put it underneath that yarn. Take a secondary piece with the loop on this side. This time the one that's going on top is going to have the loop on the opposite side. Going to place it on top. Now these cut ends are going to go into the loop towards the back, and the ones that are in the back are going to go through the loop on the front. And then you just pull gently. Oh, guess what I forgot to do? Tape down my dangle. Although the blue tape is not so exciting for camera, it sure does aid me in getting my macrame exactly where I want it to go. Now I just keep repeating the process. Now I just go ahead and repeat the process by folding this one in half, placing this one underneath, placing a secondary loop on top with the loop in the opposite direction. These cut ends go inside this loop, and the cut ends on this side go up through the loop. The bottom to the top and the top to the bottom. Pull equally and slide that up. Make sure it's nice and taut, and then you just repeat this for all 24 of them. Now, if you've watched me at any length here at Annie's, you know I kind of like to take a play on the instructions. I'm going to go ahead and take a rondelle that comes in the kit, and I'm going to take my two ends down here, twist them together, and load a rondelle into the dangle. I think this would be a great fun addition to this. So that rondelle is going there, and I'm going to keep adding my loops after the rondelle. For the first 5 you see, I have actually done them starting with the loop on this side. This is the last one I'm going to do like this, and then I'm going to show you how I'm completing it on the other side. Now for the next set, I'm actually going to start, instead of my loop on this side, I'm going to flip it over and start it with the other side. Same deal. Now as you can see that this starts with that loop knot on that side. Now it'll be balanced when I get it all done. Now it's time to unravel each of these. Again, as I showed you previously, you just roll it in the other direction with your fingers and get those 3 strands apart to start with. I just finished untwirling my last of my macrames on the side there. I think that looks absolutely wonderful. I'm just gonna straighten it out a little bit, and maybe it needs a little trim here and there. I just finished with this dangle. My goodness, I am so pleased with the way it turned out. I love how rustic it looks. Of course, you can always take a brush to this if you really want it to look full, but wow. This kit comes with so many extra dangles. I could literally do this all day long. Macrame has been super fun to relearn. Haven't done it since I was a kid, and I'm sure you will enjoy it as well. If you are interested in a Creative Women Kit of the Month Club, go ahead and look in the description box. Annie's is so prolific with their quality of their subscription boxes. I think you will be very pleased. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.